I really like this filter. But yeah, so I'm like, Daddy. So I turned around and I hear, my youngest son say, "Hi, Daddy," like that. And then he's like, I hear him on the phone's like, "Oh, wow, you got dreads," something like that, he said. And then I turned around, I was like, ew. Because I didn't see his face, but I heard his voice. But I guess my second oldest heard me, and she turns and she tells her dad like, "Oh, my mom's working right now," because I was by the computer, but I was cleaning, I wasn't working. So she's like, "My mommy's working right now," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And so she walks out of my room. So I don't say nothing or whatever. So then, like 30 minutes later, she comes into my room and she was like, she says, that she talked to her. I was like, "Oh, you talked to your daddy?" She was like, "Yeah. I tried to give," she said, "my oldest daughter," because mind you, for so long before I told her about my second oldest dad's not being her dad, she like already was aware or whatever, but she still was like talking to him and like still considered him a father figure, but she knew, that whole situation. So when my second oldest comes into the room and she was like, but she says my oldest daughter's name, and she was like, but she didn't want to talk to him. She was mad. So I'm like, what? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, she didn't want to talk to Daddy. She said, no, she don't want to talk to Daddy. I'm like, it's okay. Maybe she just was tired or she didn't want to talk to him. But I'd already had sent like alarms in my ear, not my ear, but my mind, because it was like, you've seen him as your dad, but why, what making you upset with him? So like I said, I put that in the back of my mind. I kept that pinned. So when it's time for, so it comes to the weekend, I'm supposed to, me and Donovan's supposed to, get together and chill or whatever. So when he comes over, like, we're like talking, and then he's like, "Oh, you're getting upset at me because I'm working all the time." I said, "No, I'm not getting upset with you because you're working. That's a good trait that you have that I really like about you, is that you work and then you go hard worker. It's the fact of us spending time together. I feel like I'm the only one that wanted to spend time with you or whatever." And he's like, "No, it's not like that. It's like I be just getting caught up with work in work situations." So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then we start getting into a conversation about work, how work was going, and he's telling me all these stories. And then we start going into back into our childhood and everything like that. And then he ends up like slipping in really like slickly, and then he got off the topic like really fast about how he played professional basketball overseas. So he was like, really, if I don't have to work, I don't have to work. And that in my mind, I was like, he just probably saying that, one, he's tall, and I know he played basketball. I'm like, but to say all that in that aspect, I was like, God could not have sent me somebody like this. In the sense of, that was one of the things I had put in my manifestation book or whatever, saying how what I was putting in my manifestation book was, I wanted basically my future husband to basically have a good enough job where he would be able, if I needed anything, or if I wanted to just quit my job or whatever, he would have the means to still be able to take care of his children, plus myself and mine. Not in the sense of I'm like looking for a rich dude or anything like that, but I needed somebody that was going to be a hard worker, and that was gonna keep a job and not just, you know, like depend on me all the time to work and pay the bills and all that stuff. Like, I wanted somebody like that had more than me, but wasn't like at that status. Like, so when he like when he said that, he kind of brushed over it, and I'm like, nah, there's no way. Like, there's no way that God would have been able to like send this dude to me. Like, so I'm not taking it seriously. I'm like, well, he's just saying that because, you know, he's 6'9". Of course, you know, but not a lot of guys make it to even semi-pro like that. And for me, of all people, to run into somebody like that, I was like, nah, that can't be. But that always was in the back of my head because of what he said in the last text message where I was saying how I was gonna have to look for another job or whatever. So so of course we're back on good terms because now he's making the effort to for us to see each other, spend time with each other, and all that stuff. So a couple of weeks go by, and it's now like months. I'm gonna say because my daughter ended up getting her the crayons. Actually, she had a crayon in both of her ears. They ended up taking it out, and I ended up like posting us on Snapchat. Us at the basically waiting for her to get, you know, dressed and all that stuff in the waiting room. And lo and behold, Tasha ended up texting me because she was following me on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. And mind me, like I said, I don't be on Snapchat all the time. If I post something, it's usually by mistake. So I knew I did that. Not by mistake, but I really wasn't trying to post it, but I was like, whatever. I just saved it and then, you know, left it in my archives.